When the Russian army invaded Ukraine in 2022, they moved in long columns, totally not expecting to get shot at. Those long lines of tanks struck fear and terror across Ukraine and even Europe. It looked like the Russians were going to crush everything in their path. But then everything changed in an instant. Some unknown Ukrainian soldier was the first to hit the launch button on a Javelin anti-tank missile system. No one could have imagined that Russian tanks were so vulnerable and fragile. Check this out. This is one of the very first documented videos of a Russian tank exploding. A tank packed with ammunition vanished in just 1 second, and its turret flew into the air, hitting a record height of 50 meters, about the height of a 20-story building. The Russians never expected that their 60-ton tank, with 50 millimeters of armor, could be wiped off the face of the earth in just 1 second. Falling back to the ground, the tank's turret slices into the asphalt like a knife through butter. At first, the Russians thought it was happening by accident, but it kept happening over and over. Tanks continued to explode like barrels of gunpowder. In this episode, you'll witness the most spectacular and shocking destructions of Russian tanks. Some of these cases are truly mind-blowing. But first, I want to recommend the best strategy game where you can conduct battles and conquer entire countries yourself. Conflict of Nations is a free online PvP strategy game. Choose a real country to lead during World War III. Fight up to 128 other players in real time in games that can take weeks to complete. Declare war to your neighbors or forge alliances with other players. Choose your own strategy, engage in epic battles, and take over the world. Use many different units to build your army: tanks, jets, nuclear submarines. You can play with the same account on both PC and mobile. You get an exclusive gift. Click on the link in the description to get 13,000 gold and 1 month of premium subscription for free. Offer only available for 30 days. Don't lose time. And now, let's go back to the beginning of the war, when we repeatedly witnessed Russian tank turrets being blasted into the stratosphere. The fact is that the shells in Russian tanks are fed from a so-called carousel, which is located directly beneath the crew. So, the recipe for tearing off the turret, which by the way weighs about 2 tons, is located inside the tank itself. All you need for a spectacular fireworks display is a Javelin, a kamikaze drone, or a TM-62 anti-tank mine. This T-72 tank in the Luhansk region drove over such a mine. The result, a completely destroyed chassis and an addition to the scrap metal list. The much-hyped, invincible, upgraded T-90M explodes even better than its predecessors. Impressive, but there's a 47-year gap between the production and technology of these tanks. Another tank got lost in the minefields of Ukraine. As a result of the ammunition detonation, the turret was thrown several dozen meters away from the main body of the tank. Aerial reconnaissance spotted the tank on the outskirts of a village. A Ukrainian soldier from a nearby position fires a javelin. The precise hit turns the tank into a fireball. Take a closer look. Among the flames, you can see the turret of the tank, which is clearly aiming for a height record. Another failed assault. This still intact tank is retreating, while nearby a massive detonation and an equally impressive flight of the turret are taking place. You're witnessing a case where you can earn top marks not only for the height of the turret's flight, but also for its spectacular landing. Incredible! The turret landed in such a way that it triggered a secondary detonation. However, Russian equipment isn't just setting records for height, it's also showcasing impressive distances for turret ejections. For example, this self-propelled artillery unit was struck by a kamikaze drone. The vehicle started smoking and then caught fire, leading to such a powerful explosion that its turret was thrown into a nearby body of water. Javelins, thanks to their ease of use and automated systems, have become one of the favorite tools for destroying Russian equipment. A Ukrainian operator carefully scans the battlefield using the targeting device and makes a precise shot. The vehicle, which was moving through the streets of the devastated village, is completely destroyed. The mine-clearing plow didn't save this crew from failure on their way to Ukrainian positions. The vehicle is damaged and abandoned. A Javelin is launched. Look closely. You can clearly see the missile just a second before the explosion. But tanks and armored vehicles truly become powder kegs when they encounter the minefields that litter the entire front line. This armored vehicle seems to have deliberately turned and hit 2 mines at once. Another case of a double hit. Look at the force of the explosion. It's so powerful that the heavy metal hatch was torn off and thrown as if it were a toy or made of paper. Russian convoys of vehicles, especially when moving in single file, are particularly unlucky as they significantly increase their chances of hitting a mine. This Russian convoy is cautiously moving through the village. You can see at least 3 vehicles. The tank in the middle hits a mine. The explosion halts any further advancement. The tank crew survives, and the soldiers scramble out of the damaged vehicle, fleeing as far as they can. They know that at any moment, an FPV drone might arrive to finish off the tank. Here's a striking example where 2 drones send a tank, fully loaded with ammunition, straight to hell. This abandoned IFV met the same fate. The drone hits, causing a fire, and after some time, a massive explosion occurs. While fleeing, the Russians left the doors of the IFV open, effectively eliminating any chance of evacuation and making the drone operator's job easier. The explosion caused the vehicle to collapse like a house of cards. Being a Russian tank crewman in the Russian Federation's army is probably the worst job in the world. It's one thing to ride safely across Red Square during a parade, fueled by grand ambitions and the illusion of invincibility. But it's a completely different story when you're in a foreign country, fully loaded with ammunition, speeding across a mined field. You might be witnessing one of the rare moments of enlightenment and refusal to carry out orders. However, it's already too late, and they should have thought twice before crossing the border. The result is swift. Just 50 meters later, the tank hits a mine. Even if the crew was born under a lucky star and manages to avoid all the mines, there's no escaping the wrath from above in the form of drones. No matter how fast the tank is, a drone will always catch up and turn it into a fireball. For kamikaze drone operators, destroying a Russian tank or any other vehicle is one of the easiest tasks in this war, especially when the vehicle is immobilized after hitting a mine, or if a few Ukrainian soldiers with javelins, lying in ambush several kilometers away, have helped make it happen. Of course, a hit from a javelin might leave no work for drone operators, as all that's left of the tank are scraps of metal that once formed a tank. The more ammunition stored inside, the less remains afterward. Judging by what you're seeing, this vehicle was packed to the brim with munitions, like a powder keg ready to explode. But if the vehicle remains somewhat intact and there's a chance it might be salvaged, drones quickly take off to finish the job. Mines are undoubtedly a reliable and highly effective means of destroying vehicle columns, but drones are equally effective and even more impressive in their work against concentrations of Russian equipment attempting to break through the defenses. Just look at how a small drone destroys a massive, expensive tank and forces the entire convoy to stop. In this video, the Russians made things easier for the drones by lining up 4 tanks in the bushes. But the drone's eyes, watching from above, see everything. A whole swarm of drones was deployed, and one by one, they began destroying the vehicles, precisely, methodically. One of the tanks was filled with ammunition, judging by the massive detonation. Watch how the turret was blown off. For this turtle tank, 1 drone was all it took. The explosion was so powerful that the vehicle practically evaporated. Another turret demolition. Several specialists were involved, using javelins as their tools. Watch how the turret was launched into the air. This definitely makes the height records list. So friends, the war unfortunately continues. We will undoubtedly witness more videos where Russian equipment, which unjustly and unprovokedly invaded another country, is effectively and rightfully destroyed. Each of these explosions serves as a reminder that aggression will not go unpunished, and justice will always find its way. In closing, I want to express my gratitude and remind you about a truly awesome game with countless possibilities. Conflict of Nations is a free online PvP strategy game happening in a modern global warfare. Choose your own strategy, engage in epic battles, and take over the world. You get an exclusive gift. Click on the link in the description to get 13,000 gold and 1 month of premium subscription for free. Offer only available for 30 days. Don't lose time.